Hey everybody, so this video we are starting teardown, getting ready to pull the engine out. I'm going to start by taking off the hood. I'm going to pull, well I always take the hood off, just gives me more room to work. I can work all over the engine and not have to worry about it falling or me hitting my head on it. So we'll start by taking out the 4 bolts that hold the hood and disconnecting the vacuum lines. And then we'll go from there. Once again, anytime you do a teardown, like we did with the transmission job, label and tag every bolt you have. That way you know where they go back. Now that being said, I'm going to stop here. I'm going to stop talking and y'all can start watching. I'm going to try to do a time lapse on the engine removal. That way you guys don't have to watch an hour or so of me doing this job. So let's get started. Alright, now that we have the hood off, we're going to disconnect the electrical and take the strut bar out of the way. And then we're going to start also removing the intake tube and all that stuff. At this point in time, all the electrical is disconnected from the top side of the engine, including our cooling fans. And as you can see, it's all sitting right here. So the next step is going to be starting to work on disconnecting the vacuum lines, the fuel lines, and I'm going to attempt to pull the power steering pump and set it off to the side, so that way I don't have to drain the system. Ideally, I'd like to not have to discharge the AC or the power steering. And we'll start pulling the vacuum lines off the back of the motor. So on to the next step. So we got everything under the hood disconnected. Now we got to go underneath the vehicle, and we got to take the alternator wiring, oil pressure sending unit wiring, starter wiring off, not to mention dropping the axles. So we're going to start by removing the axles first, and you got to take the tires apart. Me, I'm going to be putting everything back together minus the axles, so I can still roll the car around if I need to. But reassembly, you don't have to put the strut and knuckle assembly back together unless you want to move your car around. Alright, you guys, let me catch you up on a few things. It's been hot. I haven't really been working on this car much, but the motor's ready to come out. So when you go underneath the car, it's just like pulling the transmission. You undo the 3 bolts on the intermediate shaft, you disconnect the electrical off the starter, the oil pressure sending unit, and then the alternator. Once those are all disconnected, you disconnect the 2 heater core hoses from the engine. You don't have to disconnect them off the firewall. Then we go back up top. While we're up top, we're going to disconnect the driver's side motor mount, the front motor mount, and that one actually has 2 bolts that are underneath, sorry. You have the 3 bolts on the back of the engine, and then the passenger side mount and a ground wire. Let me take you over and show you guys what we're doing. Then we're going to get the engine hoist set up and we're going to pull this engine. Alright, so you can see 1, 2, 3, 4 bolts are out of that mount. In the back, it might be hard to see, but there's 3 nuts way down there. Those are all disconnected. They're currently sitting up here. Then we have that front mount that has 2 nuts underneath the vehicle. And then moving over to the passenger side mount, you actually have a unique setup here. Well, not unique, but you have 1, 2 bolts, a ground nut, and then currently right here and here there's a strap that holds that together. So we're going to disconnect. Those are disconnected. You guys can see I have my chain in place. I've got to pull our engine hoist out, and I've got to set up the engine hoist and get ready to pull this engine. It should be on the ground tonight, and then we'll start putting the other one together, and that'll be a whole new video. So let me get it set up. Hope y'all can see me, but this is where we start getting ready to yank the motor. Engine hoist is hooked up. I think I have everything out of my way. We're going to lift slowly and check as we go, make sure nothing gets snagged up. So let's speed this up a little bit. Alright, so we got the motor almost all the way out. A couple little snags here and there, nothing major. So the next step process will be finish lifting it up, and then we're going to just set it on the cherry picker for the night. So let's get rolling. Well, you guys, this is how we're looking right now. Engine's out, trans is connected. I don't think we snagged anything, so let's go look in here. Everything seems to be in good shape. So, the next step is going to be to clean this up. I mainly just want to clean the grease and oil off that part. Right, oh, right there. And then over here. So, this is how I pulled the motor, or the engine, because those of you who want to be technical will say, oh, it's not a motor, a motor's electric. Well, here we go. A little bit of a mess on the ground to clean up, but nothing major. Oh, AC condenser, or AC compressor. I left that connected to all the lines so I didn't have to discharge it. I just hung it with a motorcycle strap off the core support. We're going to do a couple tweaks under here, clean this up as best we can, and we get to rebuilding that new motor. I showed you guys how I cleaned it. Now I'll do the other stuff. Once again, y'all, thanks for watching. God bless and have a good day or a night.